Welcome to part 2 of our videos on arrays. In part 1 we covered indexed arrays. In this video we're going to look at PHP's other array, the associative array. The only difference between an associative array and the indexed array is that with the associative array, instead of using the index value to track the data, with the associative array, we use strings that act like tags, if you will. The keys are actually strings that you create yourself. Let's look at some code, and I think this will clear up nicely for you. At the top here, I have an indexed array. We've seen this before, and I kept it here so that we can compare and contrast it to the associative array in terms of how the associative array is built and how we access items in the array. We all know that with the indexed array, we access the items by its integer position, or its index position in the array. So if this is number 2, so it's 1, 2, 3, so it's going to pull out Jimmy, right? We always start at 0. Let's jump down to the associative array. Each array slot, if you will, is filled with this combination here. And then we have our comma, and then we have the next combination here, and so forth. So what we have is a string. Now, this is the key, right? Instead of the index position, we actually tag our data. In this case, this is the data that we're actually storing in the array, and we tag it with this key. So in this case, it's the string TV. Then our next piece of data has a value of $50, and its key is the string DVD. And then we have VCR, and then we have $2. So this I call the prices array. So essentially, it's a mini database. We discussed how arrays in the past are sort of like mini databases. It's a mini database tracking the prices of various items. So we have a TV, it's priced $250, DVD, $50, VCR, $2. So the associative array, again, uses a string, a text string that you enter yourself as its key. Compare this to the indexed array. It uses just its position in the array as its key. With the associative array, to access the values in the array, you use this syntax here. So you notice I have the quote, the single quote, and I have the name of the, of the key. This will bring back a value of 250. So let's test out our theory and take a look at it in the browser. Here we go. Jimmy is of course the value from our first array. My array, we're printing the second index value, so it's 0, 1, 2, so that's Jimmy. And 250 is the value held or identified by the key TV. So let's say I type in DVD. I'll save that and I'll hit refresh. And it pulls out the value of 50. And here it is, 50. Now let's take a look at this new operator that we're seeing here. And that's the equal sign with the angled bracket. Essentially this to this value. Same here. So this assigns this key to this value. So in associative arrays, you have to use this particular operator to create your name value pairs. Name value pair. Name value pair is something you hear a lot in programming lingo, and so I just want you to get an idea of what people are talking about when they talk about name value pairs. This is one way that you can build your associative array. Let me show you another quick way, so that's just a lot easier to read. So each comma, I just line everything up like so. So it's just easy to read. The PHP will ignore the white space. So this is just as legitimate a way of lining everything up. Let me just get rid of this last comma because we don't need it. And I've just saved that. We'll refresh the page and we can see everything works just fine. And you can do that with this array as well. There's a lot more about arrays that I haven't covered yet. But as I said in a previous video, I'm not trying to cover everything in PHP because PHP is a vast language. That said, we have enough knowledge of arrays to be able to move into using them in the most common and practical ways. Now that we understand associative arrays, we can jump into processing HTML forms in our next video.